Welcome to the It's All Fine and Anjee podcast, where hosts Dan and Anjee talk with creatives, small business owners, charities, and all kinds of interesting people. It's all real talk. It's all fine and Anjee.
Are you going to do Mrs. Doubtfire again?
No, I'm not doing Mrs. Doubtfire. Hi, everybody. How are you today, tonight, this morning, whenever you're listening? How are you doing? How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty great. I've pulled my back out, but otherwise I'm doing pretty great. Doing pretty great.
Well, we almost went to the hospital 2 minutes ago, so as we were setting up for the show, but we're not there, so that is good news. But anyway, thanks again, guys, for taking time out of your day to listen to the It's All Fine and Anjee podcast. We appreciate when you tune in each and every week. I know we say that each and every week, but we really do appreciate it.
We do appreciate it. And if you're wondering why we're called It's All Fine and Anjee, it's because I'm Dan.
And I'm Anjee.
That's right.
And together we are.
We vowed not to do that every time, but we, every once in a while I wonder if people are like, Danjee.
If a new listener, yeah. And I spell my name weird, Anjee.
Danjee, that's right.
So that's why it's Danjee. That's right. I had to be different when I was in middle school. There was another Anjee in my class, and I didn't like that we had the same spelling, so I changed it.
I get it. There wasn't too many Dans. Maybe a couple that I knew throughout my entire school life. Maybe my entire life in general. I'm not sure how common that is. I think that's a pretty common name.
Daniel. Yeah, I think it is too.
Yeah.
I mean, you have a brother or a nephew named Daniel, don't you? A nephew.
Well, we're from the South. We're all named the same three names across all the different generations. No, I'm just kidding. But we do kind of have that going on in my family. But anyway, let's talk about what's going on in Apopka and surrounding areas.
In our neck of the woods?
In our neck of the woods.
First thing I do want to say is I have kind of kicked off our new social media campaigns. I guess that's what you would call them, right? I'm getting better at social media.
You really are.
And I just wanted to thank everybody that has been participating in our small business trivia Wednesdays. That's been really fun. And there's some people that are very competitive and they're very quick to answer who the business is that we're given the clue about. So thank you for participating in that. And if you haven't, on Wednesdays, I was posting at 2 p.m., but I think I'm going to change it up and be spontaneous through the day.
Random.
And that way people really have to watch out for it. And they're not just then it's kind of fair to everybody because not everybody can sit at their computer and get to it. So I think I'm going to do it randomly on Wednesdays. But on Wednesdays, I post a little trivia or, a hint about a local small business. And whoever the first person is to guess the right answer, you have to get the name of the business correct, obviously.
Of course.
You can't just be like, oh, it's the soap person.
Yeah. We had some close calls there.
Yeah, we did. But make sure to put the correct name and you get a little prize.
From that business, right?
From that business.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. And I also want to say we sincerely love and appreciate all of you that listen and that are following us on social media and getting into these games. So
yeah,
I'm kind of just poking fun. But also it's interesting, Anjee will post and say, what's this such and such business? And somebody will guess, usually pretty quickly, and then there's a few guesses, somebody gets it. But then sometimes it's a day later somebody guesses. So please check the comments first because chances are good if it's an aging post that someone's already guessed it, but they might not have. So.
But if you want to post, if you want to tag the business, when you post about them, because then it just drives more attention to that local business.
That's a great point. And actually,
if you know the answer, the more people that are answering with the correct name of the business is just driving more, traffic kind of to that small business. Oh, you know what?
That's true. So exclude what I just said then, because tagging them is a little different. But I was just noticing.
Instead of just typing the name out, actually tag them. I know Ashley Trinidad from Coco's Sweet Treats. She's really quick on the draw and
she's
answering.
Awesome.
But she always copies and
tags the business.
Their business link or their Facebook page or something. So that way people can just click on it, and also the company gets alerted that they're being tagged in a post. So there we go.
Yeah, I like that. That's cool.
How we're rolling with this stuff moving forward.
That is how we're rolling. And before we talk about what's going on around town and the events that are coming up, I wanted to mention something that I posted on our social media last week because your Facebook memories come up and you're like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
What's kind of neat is on my personal Facebook, something popped up that was related to the podcast. And what it was is on January 25th, which I guess wasn't this past week, but the week before.
Yeah.
It was 4 years ago to the day that we were invited to a local radio station to discuss my novels. I do write fiction thriller novels, DanielFoxBooks.com, quick plug.
Yeah.
But as we were on the air, they invited me to come in, and I, of course, wanted Anjee to come with me. She's been kind of my muse with all this. She's the one that got me writing again. And, Anjee and I are sitting there chatting across the table with each other on the air at this radio station with the host that's in a booth in the other room with callers that are calling in. It was really cool because we'd never done anything like that before, but we discovered while we were doing it that we have sort of like this smooth and easy vibe between us, and it like translated to the listeners. And that's the feedback that we got from the station and the people that were calling in. And so literally later that same night, I think it was even driving back.
It was
from
in the car.
Yeah.
We started, we were talking about how we could get more involved in the community. And
which we've been saying forever.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's something that's practical for us as well. And you were like, well, why don't we do a podcast? And I'm like, well, what's a podcast? Because I really didn't even know what a podcast was.
Yep.
So you told me what it was, and I'm like, oh, yeah, that sounds fun. And then we came up with the name.
Yeah, and in the car driving back. So I thought that was neat. It was neat to see the pictures of us in the studio there.
And I didn't realize it was, because our first episode, I think, didn't air until April 11th. Is when we finally got like everything all set up. But I didn't realize it was that so much far ahead of time that we had actually kind of came up with the concept.
Yeah. And I think that's a good point too, because I'm kind of proud of this, if I must admit it here, but we have started spawning other podcasts now. So we've got some friends that have come on and really enjoyed it and now started their own podcast, like Denny Tornatore Eats the World My Way. If you're a foodie, go check that one out. It is spectacular. Denny is great.
And if you're not a foodie, but you want to be, that is the show for you.
That is the show for you. But, he came on and kind of got the bug and then got into it. And then we've got some other friends that are getting ready to start one up. And there's been 3 or 4 different groups of people. I'm sending them like lists of equipment and how to get started.
Well, you've had people come over and you've met with them on how to kind of get started. Yeah.
And I think that we just had a comment today with a friend of ours who said, thanks for helping me get the equipment together. And I like the process of getting super prepared before I launch, she said. And this is without me even thinking about what you just said, Anjee, that there's the example, January to April. So, getting the equipment, getting it hosted, making sure we know how to do it. And, we didn't do like a test run recording, which I love. So our first episode...
It's raw, baby. It's raw.
Which isn't nearly as cringy as I thought it was. I went back and listened to it recently. It's not bad. I mean, it needs a little more polish.
Look, we were on a little fold-out table in our bedroom because all the kids were here still. And that was our little space. We had 2 little boom mics, little microphones clamped to each side of the table in this cramped little space. And we were doing our thing. You know what? I think there's a picture of us sitting at that table the first few times that we recorded.
It's almost like full circle, right? So we started there. Then one of the kids moved out and we converted their room to a podcast studio. Yep. Then one of the other kids was out and that was a bigger room. So we moved the studio over there. Why do I feel like we had 3 versions of the studio? Did we rearrange the studio or something? I don't remember.
No.
Was it just 2?
Yeah, it was just that. It was
I guess the first one.
It was the table where we sat across the table from the guest.
Yep.
And then we had the studio set up where it was the chairs.
You know what I'm thinking chairs. Of? The first air quote studio was that little flip out table by the bed.
Oh yeah,
so
flip out middle, and now we're at the kitchen table.
You're right. I was going to say it's full circle, and we're sitting around like furniture stacked everywhere because Anjee's been working in the house all day. But
and we've traveled a lot. Like in the beginning, we used to take a lot of equipment to places, which we actually just did. We traveled and met somebody. Last week. So that one's coming out.
Yep, that was the first time we brought the new equipment to do that.
Yeah, we have a local food pantry that's going to be on the show next week, Lake Cares. So so keep an ear out for that because that is a pretty cool not-for-profit
It really is. But one last thing on the studio stuff, I just thought it was neat to kind of go full circle. And it's not like we have the most professional equipment you can buy right now, but we've upgraded enough to where if you listen to the early episodes, I feel like audio-wise, they sound really good, but I had to sit there and tinker with it for 4 hours. Now we don't have to do much of that. So
yeah, I'm really happy on kind of where the equipment has how it's evolved. And I wish you would have just had this in the beginning.
Yeah, this thing didn't exist back then. But, on that note, sort of, I have been telling those of you that have been asking and outside of being on the show, I think we mentioned it on the show, I am in the process of reading one of my short stories, very short stories, a one-pager story. And
Who suggested that?
You suggested that initially, yes. But, I'm trying to figure out if I want to put music under it. Anyway, it is coming. I'm not going to mention it again because I've mentioned it a couple of times. But for those of you that are like, are you really doing that? I am going to do it. I just, I got to make sure I feel really confident about how it sounds. And, and then it'll.
Because, when you are somebody who, is on a podcast or recording your voice, we're always so critical of the way we sound.
We are.
I know you go back and listen to the podcast, and I know people have told me, Carlos Navarro told me, go back and listen to yourself. That's how you learn how to grow and, kind of tweak things. But I don't want to do that. And I think the reason is I'll pick my part of self.
Here we go.
Pick myself apart so
at the 11-minute 28-second. That's it, folks.
That I'll be like overthinking it when I'm talking. Because I'll be like, oh, you sound ridiculous when you do those things like I just did right then. But that is part of normal life, and that's how I sound.
You know what?
Just like sometimes I sing, just like I did right before we started, and you weren't recording.
I wasn't recording.
So you didn't catch it.
But, it's funny you mentioned Carlos because we love Carlos. He was on the show in season 1 or 2 of the show. He's a local.
Well, it was in 2020 because he was, we did video.
Yep, that's right. That's right. But he's a local actor, and he's been on The Walking Dead, and I just watched Identity Thief this afternoon. You watched me watching that.
What's the Marvel one he's in?
He's in
Hawkeye.
But he's a local actor. He's a local radio station personality, but he's also now starting to get into motivational speaking, and
which he's really good at.
He's really good at it, yeah. So
I've always, remember I said he should do that because when he was posting on his social media, he would post these little just inspiring write-ups, just to encourage people throughout the day or whatever. And I'm like, man, that dude should be a motivational speaker, the way he puts his words.
I watched a little clip that's available out there of one of his most recent motivational speeches. What I love about it is, if you know Carlos, if you listen to that episode, I wish I had the number in my head, but if you go to our website, you'll see it right away. He had a rough road a little bit. He was on the air when he was very young, and then he got into a fight, and then he got fired from the show. And he talked a little bit about that when we interviewed him, but he turned it around.
But those are the people that make the best motivational speakers. You don't want somebody who hasn't gone through any hardship in their life or struggle and had to kind of dig their way out and find themselves and change themselves and improve and
indeed,
and appreciate the changes they've made. And you know what I mean? So that's who you want motivating you.
I agree. And he is one of the most genuinely positive people. It's not like a bullshit routine he's doing. He is genuinely positive. And boy, it has manifested some great things in his life. And anyway, I didn't even know we were going to talk about him, but you mentioned it and it just made me think.
Yeah, well, we're just talking. I do want to go back to, I know you were just talking about reading your book, but I did want to remind everybody that you will be a vendor for the very first time. We've never been a vendor at the Whimsy Market events.
I know, how
weird
is that?
To them and supported them. But we are actually going to set up your tent booth. Booth tent.
Booth tent. We're going to set up our booth tent.
There you go.
Our book booth tent.
The book booth. And you'll be doing signed copies of both of your novels there in the dark and Lies That Bind.
Yes, so come see us at the Big Book Booth tent at the Whimsy Market Big Orange Day at Sensational Farms on February 18th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. And thank you for mentioning that, Anjee.
You are so welcome.
I'm looking
and I
forward
will
to
be
it.
there. We'll actually be there in all three forms, won't we? Because we'll have the tent set up for the books. In the morning, you're going to be there with the drone, though, with flying fox shots.
Okay, very cool.
And then, of course, Fine and Anjee will be representing. I'll probably wear it right. I can't tonight.
You've been busting your butt all day.
Okay?
I want to say about that location, I really appreciate you as my eyes on the drone. I can always see the drone, but if you're going to fly safely, you have someone else watching the drone with you and kind of helping to make sure space-wise, you can see it, which is part of the legal rules, but Anjee goes and gets closer to where it is so she can give me feedback on whether or not I'm 5 feet from something or 1 foot from something. So that one's important because there's like an airstrip close to that one. So that's going to be fun. Let's talk a little bit about the book club thing, the book event that's happening at Three Odd Guys.
3 Odd Guys. Yeah. Yeah, I saw this on Facebook and I was like, this sounds really cool. What a cool little pairing.
Yes, and can I look?
A pairing.
And to be honest,
Tipsy, get it?
I kind of wish I could have slid into that with my book booth, big book booth, as you say. But what a cool idea.
I did reach out, but I think it was too late.
Yeah, I think so. But I didn't even know about it, so thank you for letting me know. But listener, this is
we'll go check it out and make some connections.
Yeah, this is a book event where they're going to have books there, book booths there. It is a partnership between the Tipsy Books podcast and I think that
Tipsy Books and Brews, isn't it?
I believe the name of the podcast is actually Tipsy Book Reads. That's what it is. So Tipsy Book Reads is the podcast. Three Odd Guys Brewery is the location. There's the Writer's Block, which is a bookstore in Winter Garden. That's
quaint little bookstore.
It's the coolest little place. We've tried to get them on the show too. It's the coolest little place. So they're all partnering together in conjunction with one more location, Prickles Bakery, and I'm assuming that the bakery there will have their stuff. So they got the baked goods, they got beer, they've got books,
baked goods, beer, and books. What else do you need? What else do you need? I've had her cookies before. They're really good. I've brought them home to you before.
Oh, very nice. Yeah. Very nice. Well, it's from what I understand, reading the little blurb about it, it's kind of an adult book event. I don't think that means anything dirty, but
I'm going. Hello, keep your children at home.
But I think it's going to be, obviously it's at a brewery, but I think it just means it's going to be books for grown-ups.
Yeah, adult books. It's not like a Scholastic book fair.
Yes, not a Scholastic book fair at the brewery, but that one's going to be fun, and I'm excited to go to it.
Yeah, that is cool. Very exciting.
It is. I put a ton of notes in there for that little blurb we just said. Sorry about that.
I know. I'm like, I'm looking through like, okay, what else is there? Like, just go to the event page and tell them you're going. Is there a fee to get in that?
There is. That's a good question. There is a $10 fee, and I didn't find a location to buy tickets ahead of time, so I'm assuming you just show up with $10.
Oh, maybe like a donation type thing or something like that.
And if you have not been to Three Odd Guys Brewing, we mentioned that before in the show. It is a really cool little brewery right here in Apopka of all places, which I love so much because we haven't had anything like this before. They've got really good beer, all different kinds of beer, and I don't want to make it sound like Anjee and I are a little bit of beer snobs, but we can be.
Well, I am,
yes,
for sure.
Yep.
But I do like craft beer.
Yep.
And not all of it, though. I usually like the darker stuff.
Yeah. Well, their beer there is really good. We've had some really good dark beers there as well.
Yeah. But part of that admission fee when you go in, it includes 5 raffle tickets. I just noticed that.
Yes.
So they're probably going to be doing little drawings and stuff. That's always exciting. It's like bingo or something. You know what I mean?
I wonder what the raffle is for. What is the raffle for?
Probably for different little gift baskets and stuff that they'll be raffling off. I'm assuming that the Prickles Bakery will do something. Usually it's whoever the people are that are attending, kind of hosting the event. They put together little gift baskets or it's little giveaways.
Oh, I like that.
You ain't got that in all those notes you took? Man.
Hold on. I'm on page 57. Stall. Oh, here it is. Oh, here, the raffle tickets are your chance to win some of our amazing prizes.
See? I told you it's going to be amazing prizes from the people that are there. I'm just saying.
And maybe it's like some of those prizes they have in that really cool vending machine they have in there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I did mention that on one of the shows.
Yep.
It's pretty cool. It's like well, I don't want to say it's an adult vending machine, but it kind of is. I mean, it's got like weird things like beer games or drinking games, weird ties, weird socks.
It's good that you clarified the adult. It's not full of sex toys. It's full of, games and things for adults.
That's a party. Now that's a party. You have that kind of stuff.
Indeed. What else do we want to let everyone know about? There's some things we've been doing, but we want to remind you guys of a few things around town here.
You know what I was thinking? Today is Sunday, and what would have been really nice is if we had an easy dinner to just pop in the oven, but we don't. And I have to make dinner because Dan hurt himself. That's his excuse anyway.
I'm still going to help.
I know you are. You're going to make the salad because we're on a salad and fish kick.
We are on a salad and fish kick right now, which I think is good for us. But yeah, I'm the master salad maker.
You really are. But Tornatore's does BOGO on their frozen meals.
Yeah, on Sundays.
On Sundays. So you can go buy one, get one. Those are great things to just throw in the freezer to have during the week when you have like a super busy day like today.
So good. If you haven't been to Tornatore's,
throw it with a salad and it would be perfect.
Oh, there you go. See, I still get to make something.
You still get to make a salad, but you could have some Tornatores. I am hitting so many buttons on my phone right now that I'm all over the place.
See that? So those of you that may not know, Tornatore's Ristorante and Italian Market is spectacular. It's located right on the edge of College Park, between College Park and Winter Park, I believe. Is Fairbanks right there at Lee Road, Winter Park? Technically, I'm not sure. Anyway, it's a hop, skip, and a jump from Apopka if you're in the Apopka area. And trust me, it is well worth it. We were talking about Denny and his podcast earlier. But first and foremost, his food is so good. They recently switched to sort of a more fine dining environment. They have new staff in the kitchen. They were already amazing, but they just keep stepping it up.
And you know what something else is they do? The last hour that they're open, they do BOGO wine by the glass.
Oh, my goodness.
And I think they do BOGO pizza delivery or pickup.
That sounds amazing.
If I am correct in my thinking. But anyway, they run specials throughout the week. So if you go for dinner during the week, they're only open in the evenings now, then keep an eye out for their specials because they got some great specials. Mm-hmm.
No doubt.
Yeah, they do. We like specials.
Their food is so good too. I mean, it is really, really good. It is authentic Italian. It is, you're going to be, here's the thing. I guarantee that you will go there and be like, wow, this food's really good. We talk about how sometimes you build a place up and then people go and don't like it. It's not going to happen there. So that's a cool thing to know about all their specials, but especially that Sunday thing. What I would do is I would plan to go there to eat and then get 2 of the meals to go so you can have them later in the week.
Yeah, that's a great thing to do. Except for they're not open on Sundays, I don't think. Oh, wait, they are open on Sundays. It's Mondays.
All right, we're gonna keep.
I'm losing my mind, you guys.
We're gonna keep moving. I also want to let you guys know that Sara Kearny, who's been on the show before as well,
she was our wedding photographer.
She was our wedding photographer. She is, and look, I tinker with like editing photography, and sometimes I see photographers' work, and I'm always impressed by the artistic creation. But Sara's stuff is a level above. I'm like, I could never pull that off. It's not just her ability to edit it properly, but it's the framing and the positioning, and it's just,
She's been doing it for a minute.
Oh, it is perfect. But she's doing this cool thing right now where she's doing what she refers to as the VW Bus Minis. So she's got this blue VW bus.
She always has something spectacular setup.
Well, fun fact, that's where Fox Valley Farm and Hop Yard got their red truck they got from Sara. But she's doing this VW Bus Minis. The samples or examples that she showed on her social media are so good with like kids behind the wheel or the back doors open and a whole little picnic setup. So if you're looking for an amazing photographer, it's not the only thing she does. Nope. She just does these kind of special things, seasonally or whatever. But check out Sara's stuff. We'll put a link in the show notes for that as well.
And guess what? Wekiva Paint Out is almost here.
How's that go again?
That's it.
That was great.
You only capture it once. Well, no, it's coming February 27th. It runs through March 4th.
It does run through March 4th. Yep.
So anyway, if you guys have never heard of it, I'm sure maybe if you've listened to the show before, or if you live local, you know about it. But it is literally just like what I said. It is a paint out at Wekiva. So they have artists from all over come in, and all during that week, they live paint basically. So they set up along the river in Wekiva, around Wekiva Island.
Sometimes they go,
take kayaks, canoes, go down the river, whatever. And they literally paint that, natural beauty that's right there.
Scenery, yeah.
And you can watch them, which is so cool.
I think it's so cool too. And another thing they do is once they've had all the paintings done, they do a painting gala.
They do. Mm-hmm.
They do that on Saturday, March 4th. Now, the paint out is open to everybody. You just go to Wekiva Island and check it out. And as Anjee said, that's February 27th through March 4th. But the gala is at the very end. Is it gala or gala?
Or gala?
Is it gala or gala?
Gala, I feel like, is the fancy French way to say it.
Le gala.
Like charcuterie board.
All right. Now I've switched over to some other kind of accent. But the paint out gala is on Saturday, March 4th from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. at Wekiva Island. It's $50 a person or $90 a couple. But that all-inclusive event features the work of all of the artists painted throughout the week that are set up in sort of like an art gallery form. It also includes a special meal, carving stations from Without a Paddle Cafe, which is the bar there. Drinks. It also includes drinks, live music, a bonfire on the river.
How cool. What a fun little date night.
I know. What a cool thing to do, really.
We need to get our tickets.
You can buy the art while you're there. So,
yeah, and they have another day where they do an auction. Don't they? They do.
Yes.
They do.
They do.
They do.
That's all we know about that.
Do they? They have an auction. I know because the proceeds to those go towards some nonprofits. So
all the more reason to go.
The more reason.
Speaking of painting, yes. Anjee has spent the entire weekend, and let's be honest, my back was not pulled out early in the weekend. But I've been taking care of the dog and taking her to do stuff and trying to go right and stuff. But Anjee has taken all the furniture out of the 2 spare rooms now. Well, one was the studio and my office. And she has retextured the walls with a hopper, like a drywall hopper.
Mm-hmm.
And now,
shout out to my brother-in-law, John Hurley, for letting me borrow that.
No doubt. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you, this woman has done this single-handedly. And now she's in the process of painting the room. She's almost done painting one of the rooms.
And look, hey, I could have just thrown the paint up there, but it just, after you've put pictures up and there's holes from you mounting stuff on the walls, you want like a fresh surface. I mean, we're going to be, renting this house for people to enjoy, and we want it to look like, hotel-like,
yes.
like something nice and put together. So I wanted just a fresh surface. That's why I did the texture to kind of cover up all that damage that had been done through the years to the walls.
Those are old teenager rooms.
Yes.
So it was a war scene in there.
And I just, like I told you earlier, I don't like painting. I don't like it. And I remind myself of this every time. I don't mind the brush painting. Like, I think I would rather paint the whole entire room with a brush.
But you don't like the roller.
I hate rolling.
See, I like role painting. I like role playing. What? I like role painting. And it's, but I can't, Anjee, be honest, I'm not making this up with my back. I'm really not.
No.
There was a time when an ambulance had to come get me out of the driveway.
Dan was having a baby in the car, basically. That's what I said, like back labor. He was having back labor.
So I'm trying to be real careful that we don't end up there.
How long did you sit out in the car before you beeped the horn?
Maybe 10 minutes.
Before I noticed you were out there.
Yes. Well, we're changing gears a little bit, but yeah, years ago, maybe 5 or 7 years ago, my back was just like it is now. I was getting in the truck. Mm-hmm. I pulled it, getting in the truck on top of it being pulled like this, and it was the worst pain I've ever been in my life. It was like every nerve ending joining together to come down my spine and then have like a spasm and then go away. And yeah, the paramedics that arrived later called that, they said it's like back labor, but they had to wedge one of those flat gurneys underneath me to wiggle me out of the truck after they gave me a bunch of Valium to get me to stop, tensing up. But I was just laying on the horn, and Anjee comes out and said, I couldn't even get my hand in my pocket to get my phone. And she said, why don't you just slide over and I'll drive you to the hospital? And I said, if you touch me, I will kick the windshield out of this car. So Yeah. Anyway, I really have pulled out my bag.
I don't mean to laugh at it, but
I know it's fun to kind of in retrospect,
You know.
but with all the painting you've been doing, that is why we did not make it to Propagate Social House this morning, because we were going to go there for coffee and breakfast, and there just wasn't enough time in the day. But I wanted to bring that up because we love that place, and they've been on the show as well, but they have all kinds of events going on. They have all kinds of specials going on.
yeah, they just did a farmer's market recently.
Yes.
They started doing those. They do a plant swap there. It's an outside, organization that comes in that kind of, organizes it, but they're hosting it there, which I think is really cool.
And they sell plants there. If you're not familiar, Propagate Social House is pretty much right next to 3 Odd Guys Brewery. And it's a coffee shop / wine bar / place to get
Brunch.
some food. And they sell plants. It is the perfect thing for a Popka. And it's, I feel like I'm whistling. It's the coolest place. We've met the owners. They're as cool as can be. And they do so many cool things. But I do know that last Friday night, they did like $2 teas, $4 lattes, $15 grazing boards for 2, $20 bottles of wine. I don't know if that's every Friday, but I know they do.
I know they try to do some specials on Fridays because now they're open till I think 9 on Fridays, and they didn't used to be.
Yeah,
so it's
open
nice
later.
that they're kind of giving people an option to do Friday night.
I love it. And they've put their heart and soul into that place too. We had a great conversation with them about it, but it makes me want to support them more because when you walk in there, you'll be like, whoa, this is a Popka, because it's a trendy, very cool place.
I know. I love the vibe in there. I
do
love
too.
it. And also, if you need eggs, because those are like a hot commodity right now. Fox Valley Farm and Hop Yard, they have a chicken farm there as well.
Yeah.
And at the little market, they sell the fresh eggs there in the market, and they're usually open on Saturdays. Check out their social media or their website, Fox Valley Farm and Hop Yard, to get the hours of, 'cause sometimes it changes. They're a family farm, but they'll make a post and let you know when they're open and when they have eggs available.
Love it. You can't beat getting farm fresh eggs.
No,
because
there's a difference. There is a difference.
I have my whole conspiracies now about the egg situation
shortage.
and people's chickens aren't laying eggs everywhere and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, you want to get natural farm fresh eggs. Well, Fox Valley Farm has figured out the way to have plenty of eggs. So go check them out. I want to go get them from there. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah, definitely. Also, you've been, I kind of kicked you and MacKinzee out of the house this weekend because when I get in the zone of doing painting or chores or something around the house, I just need to not have anybody or anything to take care of or be in the way. So I did kind of kick you guys out. So MacKinzee got to go to puppy daycare. Yes, our dog goes to puppy daycare, guys. Yes, she's very spoiled and she loves it very much. The green canine in Mount Dora, she loves it.
What a good plug, because she really does.
She really does. But so you dropped her off on Saturday and then you went to, I tried to send you to Mount Dora, but what happened?
Well, listener, maybe you can tell us what was going on. But as I'm driving through Mount Dora, and if I'm being totally honest, I had to pee. I just had a bunch of coffee. I got the dog in the car with me, so I can't just leave her. And all the roads are blocked. I couldn't even get through Mount Dora, and I'm trying to take side roads, and all those are blocked. And Siri doesn't know what.
It was an art festival.
It was
one of the art festivals.
Huge festival. It looked like a blast, to be honest.
Oh yeah, they have hundreds and hundreds of vendors that come to those events.
There were cops everywhere. Everything was blocked. It was so. I was gonna go to one flight up. I was gonna go to one flight up by your recommendation.
I know.
Which I think is going to be a really cool place to write. But I ended up just going to.
But when it's more quiet time.
Yeah, downtown Eustis and a couple different places down there I wrote at. So that was really fun. And, I'm making some progress on the book, and no promises, but it's moving along and I'm very happy with it.
We also forgot to mention that we did do something else this late Friday.
What?
Was it Friday? We took the dog to the beach.
Oh my gosh, yes. No, that wasn't Friday. Was that was after the writing that I did in Eustis.
Oh, that's
because
right.
I worked all day Friday.
That is right. I can't keep my days straight.
Well, we've crammed a bunch of stuff in one day. But it wasn't that far. We went to New Smyrna. I didn't even know this. You had been there before. There's a place called Smyrna Dunes Park in New Smyrna, and it's a beach. It's the inlet, so it's not like straight out to the ocean, but it is dog friendly.
Yes, it is. I mean, you do have to keep the dog on the leash. There are some leashless.
So come on out to the leashless Big Booth Book Drive.
Stop. But there are a couple of those beaches where they don't have to be on a leash that we're going to check out.
Yes.
Before it gets too hot.
The leashless.
The leashless.
You want to go to the leashless. Leashless beaches?
Yes, those ones.
Can you say leashless beaches?
Leashless beaches. That's where we're going.
It was really cool, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a lead for her that, kind of screws down into the ground. It's 20 foot long. So she gets about 40 feet to run into the water and chase the ball. And she loves the water.
Loves it.
We are doting parents, of course. So,
yes. Yeah. We got some great pictures of her, too. So check her Instagram out, MacKinzee's Instagram.
You know what? I will drop a link to MacKinzee's Instagram.
Who doesn't want to see pictures of a beautiful, cute little dog all the time? Like, come on. You know that animal photos make you happy.
Indeed.
They do. They put a smile on your face. And you know what else puts a smile on my face? When I see people putting on these like charity drives for local, nonprofits or something.
Oh, yes.
So Lake Cares, who we just interviewed last week, their show will be coming out February 13th. They're a local not-for-profit food pantry in Mount Dora.
Yep.
But there is a company called Magnolia Closing Company, and they've organized a Spread the Love peanut butter and jelly drive that they're doing February 11th, and we'll put a link to the event in the show notes so you can click on it and find out the location, what's going on.
Oh, hold on. Magnolia Closing Company or clothing?
Yeah, it's like, closing company. Like a realty.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Very nice.
So anyway, bring peanut butter, bring jelly. I was also thinking what we might bring is like some alternative I don't even want to say nut butter. It sounds so gross to me. But like sunflower butter, seed butter, or almond butter, something like that, instead of peanut butter.
For people that can't, that's a good idea.
For people that have food allergies.
That's a great idea.
And like some jellies that are maybe like sugar-free, stuff like that, because I think those are good alternatives to have because, when you listen to the interview with Lake Cares, you're going to see that they're very meticulous about finding out people's food needs before they just give them food. So we are going to do that, but they're going to have some live performances there, a photo booth, a raffle table. The fire truck will be there. There'll be free face painting. Some of the food vendors that are going to be there are the Salted Fry, which is in downtown Mount Dora. I have not tried it yet, and people keep telling me I need to try it. Cocoa Sweet Treats will be there, who's been on the show, and Sweet Confections. So they have a goal that they want to beat from last year. They collected 1,088 pounds of peanut butter and jelly.
That is crazy.
So how awesome. Definitely make sure to hit that event link that we're going to put in the show and check it out, and make sure to swing by on February 11th to drop off your peanut butter and jelly.
I love that you closed with that. That's probably the most important thing we talked about.
Yeah. Helping the community.
I love it.
Yeah, guys. Thank you so much for listening to us. We're going to cook dinner now.
For listen to us?
Whatever. I got to go.
I know.
I'm tired.
So I shouldn't even be picking,
and I still have a lot to do. Okay?
I shouldn't be
Meal
picking
prep,
because
dinner.
I have been sitting on my computer putting notes together and stuff for the past couple hours or whatever, but you have been slaving away on the house. So I'm not going to pick on you. I appreciate the work that you're doing, and stay tuned, listener, for more updates on the Airbnb that we are building. That's collective we, because Angie's doing all the work right now. But we're going to
post pictures of the room as soon as it's like all decorated and everything.
Oh, very
one
nice.
room, and then we'll move on to the next one.
Oh, you can do one room at a time?
Yes.
Oh, that's a cool idea.
Yeah.
Like a progression.
Complete it. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, if you enjoyed the show, then come back next week and check it out.
Check it out, guys. And remember, at the end of each and every day,
it's all fine and dandy. So what did you think? Did you like the show? If you did like the show, we would love a review on Apple Podcasts or whatever your podcast player of choice is. It really helps us, and it helps us gain visibility. Also, we'd love it if you would subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast or music app and follow us on all of your social media at Fine and Danjee. Thanks. We'll see you next time.